I've been covering focus groups for the last few weeks, and I've never seen Americans so divided, so upset with each other, so intolerant of each other's points of view, and so angry about what's been going on. And there's anger on the left, there's anger on the right, and this is not a healthy situation for a democracy. And that I hope that the incoming president's speech, and by the way, I am upset that the outgoing president is not there to welcome the president, to pass over the reins of power. We've been doing it this way for more than 100 years, and that our president who's leaving did not stay in Washington to welcome the president who's coming in. These are important, symbolic moments for the American people, and we're going to miss one of those most important of them later today.
There's got to be fairness injected into the system.
Fairness.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to expect that those who've received the greatest benefits from the economic system would also then have the highest responsibility to contribute.
I would like to see it cut to the bone. The reforms I would like to see to offset that would be cuts to social programs.
And this morning, as always, Frank Luntz joins us. So, Frank, walk us through that. You just saw two people with two very different views of what should happen here.
Well, I had trouble sleeping last night. It was the most contentious group that I've done in a long, long time. It was even more contentious than in the lead up to the election. They don't see eye to eye. They don't find common ground. They actually seek to divide themselves. So if somebody says something positive about corporations, the next person will say something negative. If someone says we need to raise X, they'll argue that we need to cut Y. And it's going to be very tough for the president and Congress to find that middle ground because, quite frankly, it doesn't exist. What's the first step you want Joe Biden and Congress to do addressing the economy?
We've got to get open. We've got to get our small businesses. They're the engine of our economy.
He needs to run an economy correctly and not falsely, not take out trillions of dollars of debt. He needs to start rebalancing the budget correctly.
There's a focus group, Frank Luntz, with voters, Democrats and Republicans. How willing are they to start fresh with the words of President Biden, the unity? Republican pollster Frank Luntz is with us now. Frank, this was tough, herding the cats here, talking to this group?
Saying it's tough is an understatement. It's actually, I reached the point where I don't want to do this anymore. That you can talk about unity, and what Joe Biden said today in his inauguration address was very powerful. And the young poet laureate, she was beautiful in her words, in her meaning, in her poetry. But this is not how the average American feels. And as you'll see in some of these clips, in fact, you probably won't even see how bad it got. Brett, I couldn't control them. They just started yelling at each other, and it would take me 2 minutes to say to them, stop, to put my hand up to the camera like I did right there, for them to get control of themselves. They don't want to hear. They don't want to listen. They want you to hear what they have to say. And I don't want to step over their words. So let's play a couple more of the segments, but I want to alert you and your viewers. It's off.
I'm appalled. I'm ashamed. And I think everyone who breached the Capitol security should be found and arrested.
My friends over there said everyone they were around was very peaceful.
Anyone who crossed Capitol security was an insurrectionist and committed a heinous crime that was an embarrassment to the United States and dangerous to our democracy.
I mean, obviously a lot of motion around this issue, Frank.
Yes, and it's edited to keep away the worst stuff. The worst stuff is that they were accusing each other. I'm tired of hearing the word treason thrown around by both sides. I'm tired of hearing the word insurrection and sedition. We are out of control with our rhetoric. We're out of control with our accusations, and someone needs to stand up and say, enough already. We heard you. Now let's listen a little bit. Let's learn from each other, and let's try to see what we can get done together.
What I'm wondering from your perspective is, as someone who has followed politics for so long and followed different political and partisan views for so long, obviously you think the scale, you're assessing the scale of it. When you think about repairing that, like, do I get the sense from you that you feel it's almost impossible, or am I going too far? Do you know, what is necessary for that to happen?
So I don't know how to fix it. And I know that listening to it just makes me sick. And the best that I can do, and the reason why I agreed to do this, and I did the BBC also, is because I want other democracies, English-speaking democracies, to know that you could come very close to that line, and you better not cross it, because once you cross it, it becomes impossible. It destroys civility. It destroys dignity. It destroys that sense of hope and optimism. It really, really is bad for the country. It has a negative consequence on the economy and on education, on everything. We crossed the line. We went too far. I don't know how to fix it. If you gave me a magic wand and I could wave it and change anything, get Biden to say whatever I wanted him to say, and even Trump to say whatever I wanted him to say, which is impossible, by the way, it would not fix it. We are so in our separate corners. We have pulled so tightly against each other that it's going to take years to fix it, if ever. But we united a country after a civil war. The truth is, it took 50 years to reunite America. It's going to take a long time to reunite it again.